Hi friends, welcome to our channel where we bring you captivating stories from the Bible, stories filled with lessons of faith, hope, and love. Today, we're diving into a beautiful tale of loyalty and redemption, the story of Ruth. It's a story that begins in sorrow but ends in joy, showing us how even in the darkest times, God's providence can bring about incredible transformation. Our story begins in a time of hardship, a time when famine swept through the land of Bethlehem. In search of food and a better life, a man named Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons left their home and traveled to a foreign country, Moab. But things didn't go as planned. Soon after settling in Moab, Elimelech died, leaving Naomi alone with her 2 sons. They grew up, married Moabite women, one named Orpah, the other named Ruth, but then tragedy struck again. Both of Naomi's sons died, and Naomi was left without her husband and without her sons. Imagine Naomi's sorrow. She had lost everything. With nothing left for her in Moab, Naomi decided to return to her homeland, Bethlehem. She urged her daughters-in-law Orpah and Ruth to stay in Moab, where they could rebuild their lives. At first, both women insisted on going with her, but Naomi pressed them, saying, "Go back, my daughters. I have nothing to offer you." Finally, Orpah kissed Naomi goodbye and returned home. But Ruth? Ruth did something extraordinary. She chose to stay by Naomi's side, no matter what the future held. This act of loyalty was profound. Ruth was leaving her homeland, her culture, and everything familiar to her. When they arrived in Bethlehem, it was the beginning of the barley harvest. But Naomi was still bitter about all she had lost. She said, "Don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter." Despite Naomi's despair, Ruth didn't give up. She knew they needed food, so she went out to glean in the fields, picking up leftover grain behind the harvesters. Now, it just so happened that Ruth ended up in the field of a man named Boaz, who was a relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz noticed Ruth and heard about her kindness toward Naomi. He was impressed by her hard work and her loyalty. When Ruth returned home and told Naomi about Boaz, Naomi saw a glimmer of hope. She explained to Ruth that Boaz was a kinsman-redeemer, a relative who could marry Ruth and provide for them according to Jewish custom. Naomi came up with a plan. She instructed Ruth to go to the threshing floor where Boaz would be sleeping and to lie at his feet. This was a sign of humility and a request for protection. In the middle of the night, Boaz woke up and was surprised to see Ruth at his feet. She said, "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a kinsman-redeemer." Boaz was moved by her request. He assured her that he would do everything he could to redeem her, but there was a closer relative who had the first right to redeem the family. The next morning, Boaz went to the city gate where legal matters were settled. He gathered the elders and the closer relative. When the other relative declined to redeem Naomi's land and marry Ruth, Boaz publicly declared that he would do so. Boaz and Ruth were married, and their union was blessed by God. Ruth, the foreigner who had shown such great loyalty, became part of the lineage of King David and ultimately Jesus Christ. Ruth's story is one of loyalty, faith, and God's providence. Through her kindness and courage, she found love and redemption. And through her story, we see a powerful example of how God can bring hope and restoration, even in the darkest times. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you next time.